Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really immersing ourselves in, well, one of the most significant cultural forces of the last century.
Absolutely. We're talking about rap and hip hop music.
Exactly. Its origins, its cultural pillars, and, its enduring global influence. We've got a whole stack of sources here, everything from a 1981 news broadcast right up to 50th anniversary analysis.
And our mission really is to unpack how this sound, which some people initially just didn't understand at all, became the world's most consumed musical genre.
Yeah, and when I say didn't understand, I mean it was almost outright dismissal sometimes. We have this clip, the source from 81, a news special,
Oh, another one?
where the journalists seemed genuinely baffled. They called it music with no melody. Can you believe that?
It's incredible looking back.
They basically boiled it down to just a strong beat and talk.
It just shows how completely they missed the point, doesn't it? They failed to see the uh, the deep historical context, the immediate social stuff happening.
Right.
I mean, rap and hip hop weren't just some random sound effect that popped up. They were a direct response, a necessary one.
Born out of specific circumstances.
Exactly. This culture emerged in the early 1970s. We're talking marginalized communities in New York City, African American, Afro-Caribbean, Latino mainly in the South Bronx and Harlem. That was ground zero.
And it came from a place of real struggle, didn't it? These communities were dealing with, well, intense economic hardship, discrimination, political neglect, serious gang violence.
All of it, yeah. And hip-hop provided this powerful artistic outlet. A way to build identity, express yourself, especially when there weren't many other positive avenues left.
It filled a huge void.
A critical one.
Okay, so if this was a response, this revolution,
Yeah.
where did it actually ignite? Can we, pinpoint a moment, a pace?
We actually can. There's a date everyone points to, August 11, 1973.
Okay.
And it wasn't in some fancy studio or big concert hall. It was back-to-school party, a rent party, actually, thrown by Sidney Campbell
Where was this?
in the community rec room at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx.
1520 Cedric Avenue. Wow. And who was the key figure there? The one who kind of sparked it all with the music?
That would be Cindy's brother, Clive Campbell,
Mm.
better known as DJ Kool Herc.
DJ Kool Herc. Right.
He was an immigrant,
Yeah.
came over from Jamaica, and he brought this, well, revolutionary idea about how to play music at parties. He'd noticed something.
What was that?
He saw that the dancers, they went absolutely nuts during these short, high-energy instrumental parts in funk records, the breaks.
Ah, okay. So he thought, how do I make that part longer? The part people love most.
Exactly. He figured out how to extend it. He developed this technique. He called it the merry-go-round.
The merry-go-round, how did that work?
Well, you'd get two copies of the same record, say James Brown's Give It Up or Turn It Loose, something with great rhythmic breaks.
Right, killer breaks in that one.
Totally. And he'd use two turntables and a mixer and just quickly switch between the two copies, isolating and extending just those instrumental sections, seamlessly connecting them,
So he was looping the breaks live, creating these extended instrumental beds.
which we now call break beats. Yes. He basically invented live looping, you could say, using turntables.
Like the world's first live sampler almost, just with vinyl.
Pretty much. And that innovation, the breakbeat, that's the absolute foundation, the genesis of the whole culture.
And from that beat, the other elements emerged.
Immediately, you get the four principal elements everyone knows: DJing, mastering those breakbeats, MCing or rapping, talking, rhyming over the breaks, breaking or breakdancing, dancing to the breaks, and graffiti art or writing, giving the whole thing a visual identity.
DJing, MCing, breaking, graffiti, the core four.
The core four, though, some scholars talk about six elements.
Oh, yeah. What else do they include?
Well, things like theater and literature, the sort of dramatic expression, the storytelling side, but also, and this is key, knowledge of self.
Knowledge of self. What does that encompass?
It's sort of the moral, social, spiritual foundation,
Hmm.
an awareness of history, identity,
Mm-hmm.
the principles guiding the culture.
Ah, so it pushes back against that whole just talk idea from the start.
Exactly. It's the counter-argument. Knowledge of self means there's depth, there's meaning, there's history behind the words.
So the tools are the four elements, but the philosophy, the perspective, that's knowledge of self. It means the rhymes aren't just bragging, they're about, self-realization.
Precisely. And speaking of the rhymes, let's circle back to the MC.
Oh,
The role changed pretty fast.
from just hyping the crowd.
Yeah, from just being the master of ceremonies introducing the DJ. Early guys, like Coke La Rock, he started dropping short rhymes. He's credited with, "You rock and you don't stop," Simple stuff.
Basic hype lines, but then it got way more complex, right? The rapid fire stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's where someone like DJ Hollywood comes in. By 75, people credit him with really inventing flow.
Flow, as in rhythmic delivery.
Yeah, the ability to deliver these long, intricate, detailed rhymes perfectly in sync with the rhythm. He showed the voice could be just as complex, just as musical as the beat itself.
Okay, that makes sense. But this incredible lyrical skill, it didn't just materialize out of nowhere in the Bronx, did it?
Not at all. If you trace the roots of rapping, I mean, the tradition goes way, way back. It draws heavily on African-American oral traditions.
Like, what kind of traditions are we talking about?
Oh, it's an amazing lineage. You can see connections straight back to West African griots.
The storytellers,
Yeah.
the historians.
Exactly. The musical poets of their communities.
And how did those ancient traditions surface in, like, 20th century America?
Well, in lots of ways. You see it in the call and response, like between a black preacher and the congregation. That
I
dynamic.
could hear that.
And then there's all the verbal artistry and community life. Things like toasting, boasting, signifying,
Yeah.
playing the dozen.
The dozens, right. The ritual insults,
Mhm.
sharpening your wit.
Exactly. And scat singing in jazz, too. That improvisational vocal style.
And then there are figures who weren't rappers but definitely influenced the style, right? Like James Brown.
Oh, absolutely. James Brown is often called a godfather for his rhythm, his vocal delivery, the grunts, the shouts. It's all in there.
And Muhammad Ali.
Definitely. His rhyming boasts before fights, pure performative, rhythmic speech, total showmanship. Plus, you got to look at the political side.
From the civil rights era.
Yeah. Figures like H. Rap Brown, his powerful rhetoric, and groups like the Last Poets, part of the Black Arts movement. Their spoken word was incredibly potent, very politically charged. That provided a template for conscious rap later on.
So all this rich verbal culture eventually finds its way onto records. Late 70s, the old school era begins.
Right. And this is when it moves from the park jams and block parties towards commercial recording.
And this is where that common misconception pops up, isn't it, about the first rap song?
It is. Most people would probably say Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang
Yeah.
from 79. Because it was massive, the first top 40 rap hit.
But it wasn't actually the first commercially released rap track.
Nope. There was one a few months earlier, March 1979. The Fatback Band released King Tim III, Personality Jock.
King Tim III. Okay. So Rapper's Delight came out in August 79.
Correct. But Rapper's Delight was the one that really broke through commercially. The speed it took off was undeniable.
And almost right away, you get real commercial legitimacy with Curtis Blow.
Yeah, Curtis Blow was huge. He was the first rapper signed to a major label, Mercury Records, also the 79.
A major label signing a rapper back then, that was a big deal.
Huge deal. And then the next year, 1980, his single The Breaks, that was a game changer. First rap record to go gold. Sold almost 1 million copies.
Wow. 940,000 copies. That basically proved rap could be a real industry, right?
Yeah.
Profitable.
It absolutely did establish it as viable.
No, we absolutely have to mention the women who were right there from the beginning, too. It wasn't just guys.
Critically important, yes. Shay Rock from Funky 4+1. She was the first woman MC on a commercially released track, Rappin' and Rock in the House, 1979.
And Lady B.
Lady B, yeah, To the Beat Y'all, also 79. Very influential Philly DJ and rapper.
And you had
The Sequence.
the first all-female group with a hit.
That's right, Funk You Up, also 79. These women were right there, shaping the sound, the style, the lyrics from day one, challenging any idea it was just a male thing.
Okay, so fast forward a bit. Mid-'80s to mid-'90s. This is what people call the golden age, right?
The golden age, yeah. And things just explode. Diversification, critical acclaim.
Technology played a big part.
Oh, massively. Samplers and drum machines got smaller, more affordable, like the Roland TR 808 drum machine.
The 808, iconic sound.
Absolutely legendary, became a cornerstone instrument. It meant producers could craft these really complex beats, intricate soundscapes, without needing a live drummer or even relying just on looping old records. More creative freedom.
And that tech freedom allowed the lyrics to evolve, too, beyond just parties and bragging.
Exactly. The content just broadened incredibly. The big turning point was probably Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five's The Message in 1982.
The Message. Okay, that pioneered conscious rap. What was so groundbreaking about it?
It was just raw and real. It dared to talk directly about the misery, the poverty, the stress of inner city life, like, don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
Holding a mirror up to society.
Totally. It moved rap from just the dance floor right onto the editorial page, you could say. And that serious, socially aware tone got amplified later by groups like Public Enemy.
Right. with their black nationalist themes, revolutionary politics.
Very potent stuff. Fear of a black planet. It takes a nation of millions. They were powerful.
And then running parallel, especially out on the West Coast, you get the rise of something different, gangsta rap.
Yeah. Groups like NWA, artists like Ice-T, their music reflected a much harsher, more violent reality that young black men were facing in places like Compton.
And the reaction to that was intense.
Explosive is the word. When NWA dropped straight out of Compton, especially the song F the Police, I mean, the pushback was huge.
Didn't it draw attention from, like, the FBI?
It actually did. The FBI sent a letter to their record label.
Wait, the actual FBI over a song. Why?
Because the authorities saw it as more than just music. They saw it as a direct challenge, a threat, promoting violence against law enforcement. That's what the letter basically said.
Wow, that just shows how much cultural power rap had gained by then. It's being treated as a national security issue.
Exactly. It was registering on that level.
That tension, unfortunately, really boiled over in the mid-90s with the whole East Coast versus West Coast thing.
Yeah, the infamous rivalry,
Yeah.
centered around Death Row Records out west, with Tupac, and Bad Boy Records in New York, with Biggie Smalls.
The notorious B.I.G.
Right. And while, the competition definitely boosted sales and media attention,
It got incredibly ugly and tragic.
tragically violent, yeah. The murders of both Tupac in 96 and then Biggie just 6 months later in 97, both unsolved. It was just devastating. And many see those events as kind of a dark marker signaling the end of that golden age optimism.
A really painful confrontation with the violence that sometimes permeated the environment the music came from.
Yeah. A devastating reality check for the culture.
It's a heavy part of the history. But it also maybe leads us to think about how hip-hop deals with struggle and trauma. Which brings up something fascinating, hip-hop therapy.
Yes. HHT. It's a really powerful application of the culture.
So how does that work? Using rap therapeutically.
Well, it uses the core elements. Rapping, writing lyrics, even DJing, breaking, graffiti art as tools. Culturally relevant tools for people, especially young people, dealing with trauma, mental health challenges.
Why is hip-hop specifically effective for that, do you think, compared to other therapies?
Because it meets people where they are. It speaks their language, uses forms they connect with. Writing rhymes, telling your story in a rap. It can be less intimidating, maybe more validating than traditional talk therapy for some. It lets them process difficult emotions, narrate their experiences, kind of reclaim their power through creativity.
That makes a lot of sense. And the complexity we talked about, the verbal skill,
Yeah.
that's led to it being used in education too, right?
Oh, definitely. As a teaching tool. Rappers have incredible memory, verbal dexterity. Some raps go on for 10, 15 minutes, super intricate verses.
Yeah, the breath control alone.
Right. So educators realized, hey, this structure, this focus on rhythm and rhyme and memory, we can use this. People have used rap to teach history, civics. I've even heard of classes rapping the Declaration of Independence.
Amazing. And beyond the classroom, its influence in social movements, political mobilization.
Huge. Getting out the vote, raising awareness, and sometimes a song just captures a moment, becomes an anthem.
Like Kendrick Lamar's All Right.
Exactly. During the Black Lives Matter movement, all right, just resonated so deeply.
Well,
It became this chant of resilience, of hope in the face of incredible adversity. Hip-hop gives marginalized voices not just expression, but a platform, a global one.
so when you step back and look at the whole journey, it's pretty incredible. We started with a sound dismissed as music with no melody, just talk.
Noise, basically, created by disenfranchised kids in the Bronx, often criticized, seen as dangerous.
And now, since 2017, it's been the best-selling music genre in the U.S., a massive global cultural force.
It's arguably the most significant American cultural export of its generation. And it thrives on this core tension, doesn't it?
How so?
It's constantly borrowing from its environment, pulling in sounds from funk, disco, jazz, Caribbean music, whatever is around. But at the same time, it's commenting directly on that environment. It's always been a voice for people on the margins.
A voice that refuses to be silenced. One source described rap's staying power as coming from the fact that it lets ordinary people express ideas they care about in language they can relate to.
That sums it up pretty well.
So here's a final thought for you listening out there. Given that legacy starting as street noise, maybe misunderstood, and growing into this global giant by giving voice to the unheard, what's fulfilling that role today?
Good question.
What modern digital platforms, what little micro genres, maybe things happening on TikTok or SoundCloud or whatever, what's out there right now serving as that outlet for today's unheard voices, even if right now the mainstream might just be dismissing it as, well, noise.
Something to think about. Where's the next evolution coming from?
Exactly. Something for you to mull over as you continue your own deep dive.